Great to have you with us. Now, in the first story, challenges in the agriculture sector range from high cost of input to lack of access to market. In spite of the hurdles, however, a young farmer in Kumasi is making progress in fish farming after giving up his profession as a telecommunications engineer. Lawrence Kuma says he is already challenging his university graduates to look to farming as a serious business to create wealth. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin tells his story after a visit to his pond.
Initially, let me see, at the beginning when I got into the catfish, I started with only 1,005 fingerlings, and one thing is I was just making a try, and after harvest, I got to know that I spent only 8,000 on the 1,500 fingerlings, but the profit was 7,000. So I got to know, no, then I think I have to invest more into the catfish.
Meet 35-year-old Lawrence from Tafo Estates in Old Tafo municipality, who took what many will consider a difficult decision to quit engineering into fish farming.
At the beginning, I thought it was one of the interest. It was one of my interest subjects, and before I was doing electronics, and before I got into the telecom engineering. But when I came into fisheries, before I realized I shouldn't have wasted my time. If I had started early into the fisheries, I have gone far than as I am now today. If you really want to be a farmer, when I was at that age, your parents wouldn't advise you to be into the farming because they thought farming wasn't a good job. But I can tell you, farming is one of the best jobs.
Lawrence, who graduated from the Ghana Telecommunication University, knew little about fish farming at the time he decided to venture into it. Lawrence is making a mark as an upcoming fish farmer.
If I stock, anytime I stock 2,000, I normally spend about sometimes 15,000 Ghana cedis on them. And after harvest, I used to get 30,000 or 35,000 Ghana cedis every harvest. I normally harvest every 6 months. Yeah.
So every 6 months you harvest and you get about the profit of how much?
A profit of 20,000 cedis every 6 months. Yeah. So within a year, meaning I will be getting 40,000, but I will use that 20,000 as an expense for paying my workers and other expenses. Yeah.
For Lawrence, fish farming was the best for him at the time he breathed the idea of venturing into agriculture. The trained engineer has no regret changing course because he is reaping the fruits. Challenges abound in such an enterprise, but Lawrence has conditioned himself to meet them as they come.
Yeah, at my initial stage, the challenges I faced was when after constructing the ponds, bought the fingerlings, bought the fish feed. The fingerlings I bought were about 7,000 fingerlings, and I needed more than what the money left to feed the fish. So at that stage, if you don't feed them properly, the growth normally don't go on well properly. So I had to find strategic way of feeding them by using the locally fish, and although I couldn't make through, but it was okay. After the challenges, the challenges were there. I couldn't get much after harvest because the more you feed them, the more your profit. So I lost a lot, and then the type of fingerlings too I stocked that time, they were hybrid. So the bigger ones were feeding on the smaller ones. I didn't know about sorting, and after harvest, the number of fishes I was having was very less, and this was really a loss.
What happened to them? Did they die, and how much did you lose from that?
They didn't die, but the bigger ones were feeding on the smaller ones, simply because I did not sort them. Because when you stock fish, it gets to a time like 2 months, 3 months. Every 2 months, you need to sort them. You sort them, you bring the smaller ones from the bigger ones, you group them into sizes, so that each when they are of the same size, they cannot feed on the other.
So how much did you lose from that?
Okay, after I quite remember, I spent 30,000 constructing the fish pond at the early stage, and after harvest, the money I had was about, I got only 10,000 Ghana cedis, which wasn't enough, but I never lose hope. I tried to push on, and before I started with tilapia, and at times when they were about 5 months, when I come, I could see about 200 fishes floating, and so I realized it was from the water. And tilapia, normally they always need clean water. They are not like catfish. So after those challenges, I make research, and I got to know about catfish. And but with catfish, they don't die like tilapia.
In health or in sickness, he is resolute in growing, he says, to the glory of God.
From fish, let's go to cattle, where some farmers in the Kintampo North municipality are complaining of a disease which is killing off their livestock.
Contagious bovine pleuropneumonia attacks mostly cattle in sub-Saharan Africa. Up to 15% of infected animals die. And while the quantity reduces, animals are less able to be used for plowing and other work. Kintampo North alone recorded 150 deaths, excluding abattoir figures, in the last few months. David Dakora is veterinary technician.
150. We have had indicates about 150 deaths, and the report we have from the slaughterhouse indicates almost 70% of the animals they slaughtered there normally show findings of the CBPP. So we therefore urge the cattle farmers to always heed to our advice. Vaccinations are very cheap as compared to treatment, so we will advise them to always seek early vaccinations to avoid the infestation of CBPP.
The viral disease, which kills most of the infected cattle, poses a huge danger to nearby farmers. Herds risk widespread attack as over 100 cattle have been infected in the area. Existing but expensive vaccines have side effects besides offering limited prevention and cure. Charles Opoku is one of the farmers here who has lost 15 of about 200 cattle already.
Our major challenge is the disease. It causes the animals to cough. They also lose weight and eventually die. When we notice the signs of the disease, we fall on the veterinary officers to assist in whichever way they can. What we experienced this year has been a sudden collapse of some of the animals which required urgent attention of the vet officers.
CBPP means contagious bovine pleuropneumonia. It's actually a respiratory disease. The symptoms are the animals have difficulty in breathing, which will result in difficulty in walking long distances, and sometimes sudden deaths.
Mr. Opoku's farmer established a livestock farm for him out of passion and love for animals, including the economic benefits. Bovine pleuropneumonia is, however, a threat to building a viable business.
This year alone, we have lost 15 cattle to the disease.
Veterinary technicians say they would leave no stone unturned in finding relief for Mr. Opoku and his colleagues. David Dakora's worry, however, is the unwillingness of some farmers to vaccinate their animals.
Yes, CBPP is a big challenge in our municipality because farmers normally think they know it all. You advise them, few take, but the rest wouldn't even heed to your advice until the disease outbreak is occurring in their farm. And when it begins that way, you can't vaccinate the animals. Vaccinations are given to only healthy animals. So as soon as the sickness sets in, you can't vaccinate them, meaning you have to treat to see if some could revive from the sickness.
Over the years, a lot of research has gone into getting effective vaccines to fight the disease, but little success has been achieved. Mahmoud Mohammed Rudin's report for Joy News.
Now let's go to the Western region where the National Farmers' Day is being celebrated as well. Now, of course, it's being celebrated across the country in various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. And Natalia Panta is currently stationed in Sekendi Takrade. In Natalia, when we came to you earlier, you mentioned that the ceremony has not begun. What's the situation now?
It began about 30 minutes ago. We have the district agri director come in to talk about some of the challenges being faced by the farmers, especially one which has got to do with the roads. You know, earlier the farmers have spoke about this, and so for the regional agri director to also come and emphasize on the fact that roads leading to the farm gates is one of the biggest challenges faced by the farmers. He also did speak about rice farming in the Western region, which they say has a good potential, and so encourage most farmers here to start looking at that area as well.
Okay, Natalia, what has been the response of the farmers after hearing such words?
They have been enthusiastic, but some of them said they need support from government in order to enter into some of these ventures because it's capital intensive.
What's currently ongoing at the ceremony?
Currently, the metro director, that's the mayor, and then some officials are inspecting the food produce that the farmers have brought here.
Thank you very much, Natalia Kanta. We go straight to the Volta region where Ivy Setoji is standing by to report from the national ceremony itself. Ivy, what's going on now?
So right now, the Minister of Fisheries and then the Minister of Agriculture, as well as the Volta Regional Minister, and the Minister of Anglo Secretary gave their speeches. And right now, we are expecting the President to also speak after the cultural display currently ongoing. But I interviewed some farmers earlier who told me that they have problems with the roads, the nature of the roads in the farming communities, which is very bad. They are motorable, so they are asking government to, as a matter of urgency, fix those roads to enable farmers have that relief to go to their farms easily and also get their produce back to the market. They're also saying that the market, most of the markets in the country are very poor. They lack shelves and other things, basic amenities. They want government to fix those ones as well, so that when they bring their goods to the traders, the market women in the market, they can have that peace of mind to sell into. So these are some of the things the farmers are talking about. For now, we are expecting the President to give his speech after the cultural display currently ongoing. And also, the health insurance scheme also giving free cards to new and existing subscribers. That's the Volta Regional Health Insurance Office are doing that. There are lots of things going on at the park. We are expected to close in about 30 minutes after the President is done and after the awards are given to about 150 awardees.
Thank you very much, Ivy Setoji. We now go to the northern region where Martina Bugri is standing by. Martina, which metropolis are you in and what's happening there?
I am at the
Martina, pardon me, but we just lost you on the line. Can you repeat what you were saying?
Sanergu Municipality.
Great. What's happening there?
At the Camville RC School Park. That's where this year's Farmers' Day is being held. The Agri Director opened the program with a call on farmers to take advantage of the planting for food and jobs. He says that this year there's been a bumper harvest of rice, even though there was a fall armyworm outbreak. But the harvest is big, and they are even finding it difficult for storage because there are no storage places. He says there was a drought, a 6-week drought in the municipality, and that affected maize farms in the area. That's why maize hasn't performed that much. I spoke to some farmers, and they say that they have so much harvest, but there's no market. Some are saying that even last year they harvested, they still have that. And what they are doing is they give it to people on credit. And then when you sell and make your profit, then you can come and pay. So that's what they are doing to be able to sell. And so they are calling on government to develop a marketing plan that would absorb all that is being produced. If not, the program would not be of use to them. Now, the Municipal Chief Executive Destiny is addressing the gathering, and she says that she's impressed with the number of women who are participating in farming this time. She said from a 4-woman group, the women have increased to over 400 women, and as well as the youth. And she says that they are taking advantage of the planting for food and jobs. She said the municipality had enough input, both seeds and then fertilizer for distribution, and that has resulted in the harvest. She appealed to people in the area to take advantage of the program as well. She says that 20 dams are under construction, and she believes that these dams would augment dry season farming and people will stop the rural migration.
Thank you very much, Ivy Sesoji, Martina Bugri, for reporting there from Sanarigu in the northern region. We now move to mango farmers who are saying that their produce is being destroyed by black spot disease.
Pruning gangs fight the dangerous mango black spot disease.
Almost all the farmers complain. That they are facing this problem. So we are practicing this so that we can clear off the bacteria from the trees.
The bacterial infection causes cracks in both the tree and the fruit, forcing them to rot and drop prematurely.
Kintampo North and South has as much as 4,109 acres of mango farms.
Yao Asenso Mensah is a pest and disease management expert resident at Kintampo. Persistent destruction of farmers' livelihood attracted his attention in 2017 to make his expertise available for 25 farmers.
We started with only 25 farms, and at the end of the year, the Department of Agriculture decided to come and evaluate our work. They found the work of the 25 farms that we piloted the BBS control on very impressive. And so a report was sent to the MCE, who also reported to the Minister of Agriculture.
We're off to Kwabena Opong's 25-acre farm, just about 15 minutes drive from Kintampo. Mr. Opong started his mango plantation in 2006 with about 1,000 trees. He chose mango because for him, it is, and as he puts it, a green gold after cocoa. 13 years down the lane, he's yet to gain appreciably from the plantation.
25 acres.
This is a 25-acre mango farm, and if not because of the huge losses, I would have harvested about 5 tons on every acre.
With the outbreak of a mango bacterial black spot in many farms, spraying and other maintenance activities cost farmers a fortune.
I spend about 2,800 on spraying and farm maintenance alone. After harvesting, it becomes difficult to get back your investment. The losses are huge. For an acre, we only get between 2 and 3 tons. I am not the only farmer going through this challenge. Almost all my colleagues in Kintampo are also facing the same challenge.
This year alone, Ms. Opong lost about 75% of produce to bacterial diseases.
We lose about 70% of produce. 70% there.
I have lost about 70% of the mango fruit on this farm, and this is equivalent to at least 5,000 Ghana cedis.
Farmers here have cut down their trees as some record zero harvest for 3 years. They do not have the financial strength to undertake mass spraying to rid their farms of a disease.
All the farms are affected to the extent that some of the farmers has cut down their trees. We have pictures to depict these scenes. It's very sad. And for the past 3 years, some of the farms have been recording zero harvest. All the diseases drop. All the fruits drop because of the disease. And so the solution requires a mass spraying, as recommended by the consultant who came to train mine gangs for me. But the constraints has been the equipment that the company needs and also the chemicals that the farmers should be able to procure for us to do the mass spraying exercise.
The current yield for an acre is 1.4 tons from actual 5 tons. A proposed mango juice factory could become a white elephant unless steps are taken to address concerns of the farmers.
A major setback to the proposed mango juice factory that has been earmarked for Kintambo here, because the disease has been so devastating that the current yield on the average is 1.4 tons. When potentially the farmers can harvest about 5 tons per acre. We started operating for 2 years, and the farm that we have sprayed continuously for 2 years, this year recorded the 5 tons per acre. So it means that if we had been able to roll on all the farmers, we believe by this time around, most of them would have been approaching the 5 tons per acre targets. And that would have served the basis for the production of the needed fruits for the proposed mango juice factory.
Simon Yambo is Municipal Director for Agriculture.
I would say those who have not been able to carry out the practices, maintain their farms well, they can get as much as 100% loss or 70 to 50% loss. But those who are able to carry out the practices carefully, they also are able to get 100% gain or just about 3 to 5% losses.
So, what is the way forward? Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
So live on Joy News today, now the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is accusing government of neglect and failure to deliver on assurances made, especially to rice farmers. President Abdul Rahman says since government promised they would buy their excess rice on the farms, no action has been taken. Rice farmers this year experienced a glut after getting a bumper harvest through the Planting for Food and Jobs program, with government coming under heavy criticism for not providing markets for the rice as planned under PFJ. Though the Ministry of Food and Agriculture promised to buy off their rice and provide storage facilities, the farmers say these promises have not been kept.
Acts of harvested rice.
This time Hamatan is starting. Bushfires are coming. So our farms are not secure. And the reason is because there are no combined harvesters to harvest them. That is the more reason why the rice is still on the farm. Thirdly, no storage that we could even store those that we have harvested that is on the ground now. We need storage. We need also to sell them, which government promised buffer stock to come and mop the produce from us. But as I'm telling you, as to date, we haven't seen them. So those are our challenges.
Now, we also spoke with the head of the National Buffer Stock Company. Apart from buying up your produce, Mr. Abdul Wahab Hanan mentioned that they would get you storage facilities like warehouses. Have these been provided?
Well, we have, if it were provided, as you're asking me the question, I'll just tell you that it has been provided at these locations. But my rice is still on the farm. It's still on the farm, not me alone, including my members, some of them who have gone into rice production. The rice are still there.
Now, convener for the National Rice Millers Association, Yao Edupoku, says government has engaged his outfit and they will start buying the rice in the coming week.
According to the Minister of Agriculture, what we left the table with is that he wants immediate action, and immediate means like yesterday. And so the bank by Tuesday should come out with the modalities where selected millers across the country would be used as the experiment, if I can put it that way, for us to see how it will pan out. So this is what we are on. I am, as at now, preparing after the Farmers' Day to move to Fumbisi. My people are already there. We're checking the moisture level, we're checking the quality of the rice before we make a commitment. So by Wednesday, most of us will be up there picking rice, hopefully. The managing director of Agric Development Bank, who was also present at the meeting, said he is ready and that those who have been selected is going to make sure he fast forward the processing for us so that we immediately pick the rice from the farm gate.
Still live on Joy News today, we come back to Accra, and Justice Bedu is stationed at the Metropolitan celebration for the Farmers' Day, and the Mayor of Accra has been speaking about the takeover of farmlands for housing projects. Justice Bedu joins us there with more. Justice, tell us more about this.
Hello, Daniel. So here in Accra, where the AMA has been marking the 35th Farmers' Day, the mayor has been speaking very much about what he said is a bumper harvest that has been seen in many of the city's major markets like Agboboloshi, like Makola, Okaishi, and places like Nima, and says that all of these are results of the government policies, the major of which is the planting for food and jobs. But for him, one of the biggest issues that he's been raising here is the continued takeover of what used to be places where farming used to happen in parts of Accra, places where people used to grow vegetables, used to plant stuff like plantains and all of that. And he's now saying that the population of Accra continues to increase. Many people are constantly moving into the city, yet we are losing the places where we grow our food, and that for him presents a major food security threat going into the future. And what he hasn't said, Daniel, is how government or his office is planning to deal with this problem. Daniel.
Right, Justice, tell us about the atmosphere there at today's celebration.
So the award itself started quite late here than I think other places in the country. We just started about 30 minutes ago. And now the mayor has just finished his address, and the individual awards have just started. They are giving them out. I know they are giving out 10 different awards to different farmers, categories of farmers here, fishermen, vegetable farmers, and all of that. We do not have a lot of major prizes. I can see high-sense bridges that are lined up and ready to be given out. I can see bicycles, which the ones that we used to call Buzanga. Also here, I can see cutlasses and knapsack sprayers that are all lined up here, ready to be given out. And also, there's a display of some of the products of the farmers or the award winners have brought here, which is yet to be inspected by the mayor and all the people who have come for today's ceremony. Daniel.
Thank you very much, Justice Bedu, for joining us. Now, the people of Tatindo in the Tatale Sangoli district of the northern region are worried about how people continue to lose their lives in their bid to cross a dam constructed under the One Village, One Dam project for the community. They also fear that poor quality of dams constructed will not enable the dam to hold water during the dry season for their gardening. Northern Region correspondent Martina Bogri has more.
It was built to offer the people of Tatindo the opportunity to farm during the dry season. This meant that people could be employed all year round to check rural-urban migration during the dry season, as well as improve upon the income of the people. But the residents have described the work done as shoddy. Mensa Makiti Charles said it's an effort in vain because the water would not last. He said 3 people have died already trying to cross the dam.
The government, those who have come to construct this, our dam, the dam actually will never help us because the water is running away. And the main purpose for them digging was for dry season farming, and it wouldn't help us because the water is running away. And within this year that they've dug, and 3 people have died inside, and many people were going to fall inside, and many people were able to capture them because the dam, we don't have the bridge. The bridge is not there for people to cross. We are appealing to the contractor who have constructed this to come and make the bridge for us so that it will save people's life, and we also be happy. And the dam to the water is running loss.
Okay. So have died. What happened? What happened in the got drowned?
The main reason was that they were to cross, and because of there is no bridge, we have made some local bridge, and they were to cross. So water just pushed them away, and they lost their life.
What was the challenge in crossing to the other side?
Actually, it was very difficult for us to cross, and we forced them. They came and did this, and it didn't help us. So we, the local people, we came and did this for ourselves.
Okay, so if it was difficult already for you, why do you then say that it is the dam that has caused that?
Actually, when the dam wasn't there at all, when we were crossing, it was helping us more than what they did for now.
Kibika Nimwak said the water used to stay longer whilst in the past, but with what they have done under the 1V1D, the water would not last.
I think it was dug just for inhabitants of this community to at least reduce poverty through farming in the dry season. But it has tended to be the opposite because it has been poorly constructed. And in fact, much particularly is about the depth and other things. In fact, the road they've constructed so that we can pass through the dam is very poor. It is, in fact, a shoddy work. They've done nothing, and they need to sit up on that. They have to come and do something about it because when it was there formerly, at least we used to get some water, but what they have done has made the water flow away. No water is staying anymore in the dam. So we are beseeching them to come to our aid. In fact, the dam has tended to become a place of danger because this year it has claimed a lot of lives. About 3 people have died. So we are pleading on the government or whoever is responsible for the digging of this dam to come to our aid.
Nyamanum Kweku, who spoke in Konkomba, said the dam will not help them. He said it's a threat to the lives of the people.
That will not help us. Just this rainy season, many people died. 3 people that lost their lives. Old ladies, even strong men, they can't walk. When they come here, the water is threatening their life. Look at the way they've constructed the thing. We were expecting them to construct it in a way that we can use it for dry farming. But looking at it, in fact, it will not reach anywhere. We are going to suffer, and we are suffering. In fact, we need them to come and help us. Whoever that business will come back and do it well for us. We are suffering. It was supposed to save us, but we are suffering.
The chief of Sanguli, Obor John Gabuja Kumayi, said the road through which the dam was constructed is the main road linking the community to Zabzugo, and so they are unable to cross. He said foodstuffs are locked up on the other side of the river because no vehicle can move to bring the farm produce.
It's still live on Joy News today. Let's now go to the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry in North Legon, where the Joy Corporate Worship is underway. It's live on Joy News today. So those are the proceedings at the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministries, where Joy Corporate worship is ongoing. We'll go back there as and when we have a stable signal. In the meantime, though, let's take a few messages. We'll be right back.